everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is Thursday and it is March 18th. We have a couple of meetings to tell you about today. We have the United Architectural Controls and Standards Committee meeting, which will be at 9:30 this morning. And then we have the United Governing Documents Review, which will be at 1:30 this afternoon. And you can follow along with those at lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. On our show today, we have Congresswoman Katie Porter. And she was very excited to talk to us about three different things that will certainly be helpful to all of you seniors out there. And then we have the Vector Control, who are just reminding us about standing water, mosquitoes, and a variety of other things that we need to look out for as we start to warm up in the coming months. All right, let's go ahead and give you our vaccination information that we normally do. We have LagunaWoodsVillageAlerts.com, where you can get all the latest updates about the village, as well as an FAQ page regarding the vaccine. And then if you are 65 and over and you have not been vaccinated, please email us at info@LagunaWoodsVillage.com, your name, manor number, and whether or not you would like to receive the vaccination here in the village. Now, if you would like to get the vaccination at one of the various vaccine pods, you can register at othina.com. You can contact Rite Aid, riteaid.com/COVID-19, and then CVS, cvs.com, or 1-800-SHOP-CVS. All right, our weather is looking just like yesterday, very normal throughout the week. We aren't getting too warm, though, this week. We are looking at 67, 41, 70, 54. Saturday, we welcome spring, 65, 45. Sunday, 64, 44. And then Monday, 65, 46. Our sunrise this morning was at 6:57, and the sunset will be at 7:01. Alan, thank you for capturing this beautiful cactus and its beautiful flowers. We appreciate you sending that in. And if you have a photo that you would like to share with the village, please email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. All right, when we return, we will have Congresswoman Katie Porter. Stay tuned.
With 2020 behind us, now is the perfect time to take care of all the things that you might not have been able to. Caliber Collision is just up the street from you, and we offer a lifetime warranty on all body and repair work for as long as you own your vehicle. And we offer free pickup and delivery for all our Laguna Woods customers. On or off the road, safety is very important to us, which is why we are following all COVID-19 guidelines. Caliber Collision, restoring the rhythm of your life.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Congresswoman Katie Porter, and it's been so long since we've talked to you, and I know you've been busy, but welcome and thanks for coming back.
Absolutely. Always my pleasure to join Laguna Woods.
Now, as we've seen for the last, several months, the pandemic has been the forefront of all of the news, but there's a lot of good things that are actually coming out of that. And you've got a few things that you want to tell us about. So we'll start with the Medicare Economic Security Solution.
Right, so Medicare is one of the most successful American programs we've ever enacted, providing health care to seniors. And there's room for improving Medicare. We all know that, particularly with regard to prescription drugs. But this is really generally a success story. It's not perfect, though. And one of the ways that seniors get tripped up is that there's a 10% penalty per year that somebody delays enrolling in Medicare. And this means that people who don't know, who are still working, and people who are working later and later into life might get tripped up by this. And this penalty can really quickly add up and become unaffordable. So while we want everyone to enroll, to know the rules, we don't need to hit people with this kind of really strong penalty. So what my bill would do is to reduce and cap this penalty.
Okay. Now, tell me, go into a little bit more about, how it will certainly help our seniors.
Yes, so what happens right now is that seniors who may be approaching Medicare eligibility, they might still be working, they might be covered under a spouse's health care, and they may therefore, realize they've gotten to that Medicare age but not take any action. And without them even realizing it, penalties can start to accrue. And 10% penalty per year can really start adding up. That's under current law. So what I've done is partner with a really terrific Republican colleague from Washington State, Representative Jamie Herrera Butler, and we've come together to try to cap these penalties and make sure that seniors aren't getting what's really the equivalent of like a surprise medical bill, but in this case, it's coming from the federal government with regard to Medicare.
Okay, penalties. Now, I don't think I'm aware of this, well, primarily because I'm not on Medicare, but why would there be penalties?
Well, we want people to enroll in Medicare. We want to be keeping track of them. You think about this as the same kind of way that we have rules around enrolling in selective service when you turn 18. So we want people to be signing up for Medicare. We want a big pool of people in it. We don't want people waiting until they need a huge operation and then showing up. So it's just like other insurance programs in that there's sort of an open enrollment period, but here it comes around that magical Medicare age. And so, but some people, like I said, they'll still be covered by private insurance. They may not want to make use of Medicare. They still need to go and sign up. But this bill will reduce the penalties if that date slips by.
Okay. All right. Great. Now let's go on to the other things that you mentioned. And you've got a Mental Health Pandemic Act. What exactly is that?
Well, mental health is one of my top priorities in Congress. It's one of the things that I've heard from constituents of every age and every part of this community about the importance of being able to afford and find competent, quality mental health care. And this is actually an increasing issue for our seniors, many of whom started to get care before they went on to Medicare. And so deepening the provider network, for example, of people who do mental health providers and who take Medicare is an important goal. The particular bill you mentioned, the Stopping the Mental Health Pandemic Act, recognizes that COVID-19 hasn't just taken a toll on people who've gotten physically sick, it's also taken a big toll on people's mental well-being. And that's everything from grief at loss of loved ones, being unable to gather with family, isolation, anxiety. And so what this bill would do is provide more funding for our community mental health providers so that they can better meet the need out there for mental health.
Yeah, many of our services here in Laguna Woods Village have been focusing on that as well, because they get calls from lonely seniors who are feeling isolated and severely depressed. So, I mean, there are a variety of hospitals in the area and providers who can help with mental health. But, maybe this is something that is definitely needed, going forward, like you said, to help everybody and nationwide, not just elderly, but also some of our teenagers are having issues too. Would this help any of those as well?
Absolutely. This would apply across the age spectrum because the additional funding would go to state and local government programs. So if there's mental health wellness groups that, for instance, are being run by the city of Laguna Woods, it would also help nonprofit organizations. And there are some really good ones that focus on teenagers, but we're seeing mental health kind of across the age spectrum spike. Kids too are lonely, cut off from school, working parents who are trying to simultaneously juggle working with supervising their children in online school. So this bill is really there to strengthen the mental health network so that when people need help, it's there for them. And we've seen in some instances really strong demand of our community providers. I talked to some people recently who are psychiatrists and psychologists, and they said, we're working overtime. So many people are coming to us and need our services right now. We need more help. And that's what this bill is designed to do.
That's awesome. And one thing you and I were talking about off camera is that all three of your children happen to be in school today while you're doing your Zooms. And I don't think there's not one parent out there who wouldn't be ecstatic if that was their situation, is to make sure that kids are back in school, because number one, as we said, some of the teenagers and younger kids are missing that sociability of being in school, also the learning process. But then our parents, like you said, they got to work out of the house, yet they're still trying to care for their kids at the same time. So, I think everyone could certainly benefit from this.
Absolutely. We need to be focusing on getting schools reopening. And I'll tell you, as a parent of three, as a single mom of a high schooler and a middle schooler and an elementary schooler, about a year today when the public health emergency went into effect and they announced schools were closing, it was right then and there that I started thinking about what do we need to do to make sure that schools can reopen safely. And I think that's the key word. It's not just about reopening, it's about reopening safely. And we know more about this disease than we did before. We know that things like ventilation can help, that making sure that people are wearing masks can help. And we have vaccines now that are getting into the arms of our teachers and school staff members, people like bus drivers and others. This is really, really an important step toward being able to reopen. And it's going to benefit kids. It's going to benefit their learning as well as their social emotional development. It's also going to benefit our economy because we're seeing a lot of people, particularly women and women of color, who are exiting the workforce because they have to take care of children.
Yeah, it's been tough for sure. Now, let's move into the American Rescue Plan, because I have a feeling that that's going to help many of those folks who have been at home caring for their children.
Absolutely. So the American Rescue Plan is the name of the bill that Congress just passed, both the House and the Senate, and President Biden signed into law last week. And this bill has several key components, but I like to think about it as a couple different buckets. Bucket one is shots in arms. That is providing more funding for vaccine distribution and continued funding for testing and tracing. And as we have less community spread of COVID, tracing can actually be a better tool to make sure we don't have any further outbreaks, particularly of these variants. So the bill contains funding to state and local health departments to help make that happen. And I think we're all seeing vaccine distribution is ramping up. We've had our biggest days of vaccine dissemination in the last few days, but our state and local governments need resources to make that happen. Yeah. The second big part of the bill is addressing the economic pinch that so many families are feeling, behind on their rent, behind on their mortgage, unable to make ends meet, having trouble putting food on the table, and hours-long lines at food banks, even here in Orange County, in South Orange County and other places. So what this bill would do is provide a $1,400 payment for every adult or child, and it does phase out at certain income limitations, but it's estimated that about 85% of American households will receive a stimulus payment. They've already hit bank accounts in many, many cases, so we're really working hard to get people this help right away. And related to that, and one of the things I'm really excited about in this bill is the expansion of the child tax credit. Many, many people remember that starting in the 60s and 70s, we were talking about child poverty, and an incredible toll it takes, not just on kids, but on our overall economy. This bill would expand the child tax credit and is estimated to cut child poverty in half in a single year. And that is great news for all of us, whether we have kids or not, whether we're struggling to make ends meet or not, because child poverty is a barrier to those kids learning, getting the best jobs they can, and being able to be globally competitive.
Wow. And yeah, I mean, I was reading about that, and there has been quite an increase in some of the child tax credits. And now, is that also increase in care credit too, if you needed to have your child cared for?
Yeah, so parents can use this child tax credit for whatever they need to. And so they could use it to put toward the cost of child care. They could use it toward making sure that their children have good, nutritious food, are not overcrowded. And generally, the research has shown us that particularly for lower income families, when you give them a little bit more money for their children, the first thing they spend it on is more food and more nutritious food. And so particularly toward the end of the month, a lot of kids go hungry and a lot of kids don't get good nutritious food. So this is gonna do that. And also the American Rescue Plan is gonna deliver billions of dollars to our state and local government right here in California, not just to the state of California, but to Orange County, for the Board of Supervisors to use, and to local city governments. And we've seen cities right here in Orange County put this money to good use. For example, programs to help small businesses who maybe fell through the cracks in the Paycheck Protection Program or need a little bit more help. rental assistance for people who can almost make their rent, but not quite, and they're at risk of getting evicted. So it contains a big chunk of money for state and local governments. And I'm really proud that here in Orange County, our local mayors, regardless of party affiliation, stepped up and joined with me in calling for these resources and said how important it is to them to be able to keep balancing their budget and keep helping the people in their community.
Well, the good thing that you mentioned is helping people pay rent, because, you know, a lot of landlords, you know, they're losing an awful lot of money. And in fact, they're at risk of even losing the building itself if they don't have the means to, you know, help the people or make improvements or things like that. I mean, or even be able to pay the taxes on that. So would you imagine that this would help those folks?
Well, it's going to help renters be able to pay their landlords. And many of the landlords, of course, will also get these stimulus payments that they can put toward dealing with whatever costs they have. I do think that we have to recognize that, particularly for smaller landlords, seniors who maybe are renting out their home and move to Laguna Woods, for example, that rental income is a main source of income for them. So I'm continuing to work on a bipartisan basis in Congress, talking about what we can do to help make sure that renters start paying that rent. We've given renters a break and we've prevented the evictions, but that hasn't done enough to help landlords be able to cover their expenses as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, and one last thing real quick. We've got the HEROES Act that's part of this American Rescue Plan. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, so the HEROES Act was the name of the prior bill that Congress put together. And so that was the bill that the House passed last year in May. And then because of gridlock, because the Senate wouldn't take it up, not even take it up and vote it down, but just wouldn't debate it, a lot of what we had in the HEROES Act got folded back into this. Mm-hmm. And so that's where you see things like assistance for schools, assistance for vaccine distribution, that state and local assistance. These were things that were needed almost a year ago. So it's long overdue to get this help. And we know that our local governments can't be stretched any further. They're facing layoffs of law enforcement, of first responders, of emergency services, of community support. So it's really, really important to get this money out there. It's everything from Meals on Wheels to vaccines. This is really a bill about making sure that America can recover.
Okay, perfect. And I appreciate you saying that again, because I know that you said it earlier in there, but I wanted to make sure that everybody heard that. So thank you so much for spending the time with me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. And we'll be right back after this.
At South County Lexus, we really are different. We're California's exclusive Lexus Plus dealer. Lexus Plus is a new way of doing business. At a Lexus Plus dealer, you can expect an upfront, negotiation-free, hassle-free price right on the vehicle. The same price you'll find on our website, all the way through the transaction. At South County Lexus, we feel this is the way of the future, and this is the way the customer prefers to do business. South County Lexus, your exclusive Lexus Plus dealer. Different, just like you.
Welcome to the Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District. The mission of the district is to educate and protect Orange County from vectors and prevent vector-borne diseases in an environmentally responsible manner. The district was first established in 1947 and is governed by a board of trustees comprised of 35 members, one from each city and one member representing the county. Due to COVID, our board meets virtually until further notice, as opposed to in our district's boardroom. Let's break down the different departments within the district to shed light on all the hard work and dedication that goes into vector control. The district's administrative team provides full in-house financial support, including budget preparation, financial planning, payroll, and auditing. The human resources staff coordinates employee events, staff recruitments, hiring, termination, and employee benefits. The district also has a comprehensive IT team that ensures that the agency's IT infrastructure eliminates cyber threats and manages the district's extensive data management system. Let's learn more about some of the other programs at the district. Community engagement is a key component for the district's mission. Staff works with homeowners during service calls to help them become an active participant in mosquito control. The district attends on average over 80 events a year, sometimes with our large inflatable mosquito. We conduct a yearly awareness campaign and have developed 1st, 4th, and 6th grade school education programs. The education program is a vital part of OC Vector services. Children learn about mosquitoes and learn how to take personal responsibility for their properties. The Communications Department also develops city partnerships to create awareness of our control efforts, as well as an extensive notification process for cities and residents. Both cities and residents have access to a variety of resources produced by the Communications Department, including education DIY videos, advocate kits, brochures, and social media posts to keep people updated with the district's events, programs, and control schedules. The Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District's lab is a full-service surveillance and testing facility. The lab collects, identifies, and tests mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, dead birds, and small mammals for a variety of vector-borne diseases. With in-house testing capabilities, the district is one of the few vector controls in the state that can test mosquitoes and other specimens for disease on site. The staff also performs a variety of other functions, including insect identification and pesticide evaluation and monitoring. Lab staff conducts pesticide efficacy tests and evaluates the most effective products to use. The district also has an extensive mosquito fish program, producing and distributing over 100,000 mosquito fish per year. The lab staff also conducts environmental assessments and works with regulatory agencies to ensure that the district is in compliance with all regulations and laws. The operations team's primary responsibility is controlling mosquitoes, rats, red imported fire ants, and flies. Inspectors safely, efficiently, and effectively use an integrated vector management technique to protect the public from vectors and vector-borne diseases. This dedicated team performs these services in all 34 cities and unincorporated areas of Orange County. The district maintains a full-service garage that conducts repairs, maintenance, and custom fabrication for over 100 vehicles. The operations staff works with homeowners to identify, educate, and control for mosquito breeding sources. There is also a team dedicated to routinely checking large sources such as wetlands, marshes, and flood channels. In a case where large abundance of mosquitoes or increase in mosquito-borne disease is found, staff utilize specialized equipment such as a wide-area larvicide or ultra-low-volume adulticide to assist with reducing mosquito populations. The district staff also treats for red imported fire ants in public areas such as golf courses, schools, and parks, and in residential properties. The district is also using newer technology such as into-care traps and aerial drones to help locate and treat in environmentally sensitive or hard-to-reach areas. Thank you for joining us at Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control District. As a special district, we strive to move forward, bringing new technology and innovative concepts to combat vector-borne diseases in Orange County. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Tip, toss, take action. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance.
We consider hearing to be an essential part of your life. During this time of quarantine and isolation, you need to be hearing the best you can to understand how to stay safe and to hear your friends and family. Advanced Ear Care is offering service to everyone that needs help with their hearing aids, no matter where it was you purchased. If it's not working properly, please call for a free troubleshooting appointment. We even have hands-free, no-contact curbside service. There's no charge for this service. Advanced Ear Care is here to keep you hearing during these critical days.
to tell you about. The Car Club is having some activities, and they wanted us to share those with you. Laguna Woods Car Club is going to have a chat with a mechanic on Zoom, and that's going to be on March 20th, and that is this Saturday. And then they're going to have a Cars and Coffee March 27th. And then they will bring back the car inspection day sometime in April or May. And then they're going to try to go for the Memorial Day Parade. So they're going to honor all the vets on May 31st. Now, a couple of other items that we have for you today. We have the cuisine, the senior cuisine. Now, I happened to sit down with them yesterday, and we will have that Zoom for you in the next couple of days. It is affordable meals for seniors, and it's 50 and above, and I have to tell you, the food is very delicious, and it's $9.95, and there are no other hidden fees or delivery fees. You can order 2, 4, or 6 meals at a time, and they will deliver them to your home. If you would like to participate, you go to myagewell.org, and you can see all the details and the 10 different restaurants that they have participating, so it's a pretty good deal. The Florence Sylvester Senior Center is so excited. They are finally going to be able to do their rummage sale. Now, this is one of their biggest fundraisers, so they really do hope that you will be able to participate either by dropping off items Tuesday and Thursdays only from 1 to 3. You don't have to get out of your car. You can just let them know that you're there, and they will come to you and get the items out of your car. And then if you would like to come to the rummage sale, it'll be on March 27th, starting at 8 a.m. And of course, it is all COVID acknowledged, meaning they will have distancing and they will make sure that you have a mask and that kind of thing. So it should be pretty fun and a great fundraiser for them. One other thing that we do have happening on this Saturday is the bulky item pickup. So you would have to take it to the area of where your big trash cans are. And the first thing you want to do is contact resident services so they know that you're going to be doing this and they can make sure that it gets picked up. You will call 949-597-4600 to resident services to make sure that they are aware that you have something for pickup. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather one last time for today. As I mentioned, we aren't really going to be getting too warm. The high might be in the 70s, but that is only on Friday. And the rest of the time, we are looking at the mid to high 60s, 67, 41, 70, 54. Saturday will be spring, 65, 45. Sunday, 64, 44. And then Monday, 65, 46. So lovely weather this week. Get outside, get some fresh air. And tomorrow we will have Jeff Parker here, and he's going to talk about some of the openings that are happening, and things are moving fast. So very exciting. Have a great day in the village. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Meridian at Laguna Hills, a newly multi-million-dollar renovated community. Located in beautiful southern Orange County, the Meridian at Laguna Hills blends quality senior care onto the bright canvas of Laguna Hills Life. With a luxurious 5-star resort-style community and a dedication to resident care, you can experience an exquisite senior lifestyle unlike any other. Discover a community filled with care and the freedom to pursue what matters most. It's a new day and it's yours. Make the most of it at the Meridian at Laguna Hills.
As Orange County's highest-ranked hospital, Hoag is the place to turn to for timely information, reassurance, and care in these uncertain times. Our dedicated physicians, nurses, and staff stand ready to safely deliver world-class care, just as we have for nearly 70 years. This is what we do. We are here for you, and we will overcome this together. To access Hoag for all of your healthcare needs, visit hoag.org/trust.